Do you think being an eagle is synonymous with freedom? Do you believe that riding the air currents, watching the world from above, is the peak of wild existence? Look at the photo of an eagle. Power, vision, talons that look like steel. The personification of strength. That is the lie nature sells you. The truth is your life is not a glorious flight. It is a race against biological bankruptcy. You are an elite predator, yes, but your elite status is built on a foundation of extreme fragility. All of your survival, all of your majesty, depends on two things that will inevitably wear out: the precision of your vision and the integrity of your killing tools. You are not born invincible. You are born condemned to perfection. And when perfection fails, which is guaranteed by the simple passage of time, death will not be fast. It will be slow, humiliating, and painful, dictated by starvation. Think again. To be you is to always be 1 millimeter away from making a mistake that will cost your life, or the life of those you love. The air up here is cold and thin, even under the unforgiving sun. The nest, a mass of dry branches and debris cemented by time, sits atop a dead pine tree, or perhaps on the most exposed plateau of a steep rock face. It is the safest point, and paradoxically, the most dangerous point in your small universe. Birth is not a triumphant breaking out. It is an exhausting effort. You spend hours piercing the damp, cold shell, forcing your diamond-hard beak against the confinement. When you finally emerge, you are not the feared predator. You are a slimy embryo, covered in weak, gray down, blind, and helpless. You feel your mother's body, large and heavy, a warm mountain that blocks the wind, but her comfort is conditional. The first hardship is immediate and brutal, fratricidal competition. You are not alone. Your brother, maybe 2 days older, is already here. He hatched first, which means he already has a size and strength advantage that amounts to a death sentence for you. Nature does not allow charity. Resources are finite. If your parents' hunting is scarce, and it often will be, only the strongest survives. You feel the warmth of the older chick, but you soon discover it is not the warmth of an ally. It is the presence of a hungry rival. When the food arrives, a piece of rodent or fish brought by the mother, the distribution is not equal. It is war. Your brother, larger, with a slightly tougher beak, attacks you. It is not an attack of rage. It is a biological instinct for survival. He pushes you, pecks you on the head, smothers you against the floor of the nest. You try to fight, but your body is a soft sack of bones and hunger. The parents watch. They do not intervene. Siblicide, the death of sibling by sibling, is a cruel evolutionary strategy. It is the guarantee that if only one can be nourished, that one will be the best, the most fit. You survive the direct attack, but hunger becomes your greatest internal predator. Your brother devours most of the meat, and you manage only crumbs. If you are the second or third to hatch, your chances of making it to the first week are dismal. Heat stress, starvation, and the constant attacks from your older brother are the first filters of mortality. If you are the strongest, the first to hatch, you are the aggressor. You feel the adrenaline of competition, the impulse to pack and dominate, pushing the smaller sibling toward the cold edge. You are the winner, but you carry the weight of having been born into a family where survival demands the elimination of your closest competition. You spend the first 10 weeks of your life in the nest, rapidly gaining mass. But gaining mass only means there's more of you to starve if the hunting fails. The dependence is absolute. You don't hunt, you beg, and the danger is constant. The nest is exposed. A strong enough storm can dislodge the structure and send you and your siblings, if any, hundreds of feet down. You smell the strong odor of the rain mixed with the rancid stench of food scraps rotting on the floor of the nest. As you grow, your down is replaced by juvenile flight feathers. It is a phase of intense physical pain and stress. Your blood feathers, full of growing blood vessels, are incredibly sensitive. Any damage to them can be catastrophic and painful. Gradually, your parents start treating you less like a baby and more like a burden. They bring back less and less processed food, forcing you to tear and swallow. They start spending long periods away from the nest, encouraging or forcing you to move. The most terrifying moment of your youth arrives: the attempt to fly. You are high up, the wind whipping your newly formed feathers. Instinct tells you to wait, but hunger and parental pressure, who often stop actively feeding you, force the decision. You have to take off, but flying is not a switch you flip. It is a complex motor skill that must be learned through trial and error, and one mistake here means instant death on the ground. You leap. The frigid air rushes into your lungs. Your wings beat awkwardly. Your muscles, not yet fully developed, burn with agony. You don't glide. You fall, desperate to turn the drop into lift. If you are successful, you make it to a nearby tree, panting and exhausted. If you fail, you crash. For most young eagles, the first attempt is the beginning of a period of extreme vulnerability. The juvenile mortality rate is frightening, usually between 70% and 90% in the first year of life, depending on the species and food availability. You are slow, inexperienced, and easily detectable. Even after you learn to fly, you don't know how to hunt. Your parents are expert predators, capable of calculating trajectories, dives, and wind strength. You are an amateur. You chase small, slow prey, wasting vital energy on failed attempts. Most of your initial hunts end in humiliation and, worse, in wasted calories. You still depend on your parents' scraps for weeks, maybe months, but they are increasingly impatient. They drive you out of the territory. You have to fend for yourself or die. You become a juvenile nomad, wandering vast distances, with no fixed territory and without the necessary skills to compete with established adults. Hunger is your shadow. It is a constant ache, gnawing at your stomach and diminishing your ability to reason. You learn to recognize the signs of predators: foxes, coyotes, other larger raptors that want to steal your carcass or, worse, take you down. Learning to hunt is a process of near-fatal mistakes. You miss the prey by a millimeter. You mistime the dive. You spend an hour circling to attempt an attack that lasts 3 seconds and ends with you back on the branch, shaking with exhaustion and an empty stomach. The danger doesn't only come from hunger. It comes from the human habitat. You quickly learn that transmission towers and high-voltage wires are invisible traps. A collision can break your wing, condemning you to die on the ground. Pesticides and toxins slowly accumulate in the fish and rodents you eat, poisoning your reproductive system and weakening your bones. For the next few years, before reaching sexual maturity, you will be an outcast. You have to survive on scraps, found carcasses, and desperate hunts. You are constantly on the verge of starvation, and your young body is under constant pressure to develop without ideal nutrition. You are not building the foundation of a kingdom. You are merely trying to survive your youth, hoping that out of the 90% who die, you will be one of the 10 who live long enough to claim a territory. And that is when the real grind of stress begins. You don't know it yet, but adulthood is just a more efficient phase of the same nightmare. The difference is that now, you have more to lose. The difference is that now, you have more to lose. Adult life is a prison of responsibilities. You find a partner in Eagle who, like you, proved resilient enough to survive its youth. You do not bond out of affection. The union is a survival partnership, a calculation of efficiency to defend a territory and ensure the next generation. Your job now is incessant, defending. You spend hours patrolling the skies, burning precious calories just to show the neighbors that this stretch of river, this line of trees, is yours. Any intruder is an existential threat. You must be ready for aerial combat, a brutal battle of talons and beaks that can end with ripped-out feathers, torn webbing, or, at worst, a broken wing from a collision. Every territorial dispute wears you down. Together, you and your partner build and maintain the nest, the eyrie. It is a fortress of sticks, weighing hundreds of pounds, requiring the maximum strength of your talons and beak to carry heavy branches. The physical stress is constant. There is no time for rest. The nest is a perpetual construction project, subject to wind, rain, and degradation. Hunting is now a necessity, not a luxury. You need 3 to 4 times more food than you needed alone, because now you have to feed your partner during incubation, and soon, the hatchlings. Reproduction is not an act of love. It is a biological drain. The female lays the eggs and begins the long incubation period, a weeks-long ordeal where she barely moves. Your responsibility is to hunt for 2. You become a slave to her hunger, flying and diving to the point of exhaustion. If you fail, the risk is abandonment or that both of you starve in the nest. When the eggs hatch, the real hell begins. Life is relentless from the very first second. Usually, 2 hatchlings are born. The one that hatches first is bigger and stronger. The phenomenon is called canism. You and your partner watch from above as the firstborn, starving and biologically programmed to monopolize, attacks the weaker sibling. It pecks him, shoves him, and prevents him from eating. The younger sibling, already weaker due to a lack of nutrients in the egg, slowly dies of starvation or is murdered. You do not intervene. You cannot. Nature has decided that only the fittest, the one requiring the fewest resources, will survive. Your sole concern is ensuring that the survivor reaches maturity. For the next few months, your life is defined by exhaustion. You spend 90% of your time hunting. Your chest muscles burn. Your talons become dull from ripping flesh, and your eyes ache from the constant strain of tracking minuscule prey miles away. You are in a permanent caloric deficit. Every year you reproduce, you take a portion of your own vitality to give to your hatchling. When the hatchling finally flies, it becomes yet another competitor in your territory until you drive it away to ensure it does not come back to steal your food. You repeat this cycle until your body begins to fail. You reach a point in adulthood where survival is simply a matter of managing the wear and tear. You are alive, but the cost is steep. The first things to fail are your instruments of labor, your feathers, beak, and talons. The adult eagle goes through molting, an exhaustive process that replaces flight and contour feathers. The older you get, the harder it is to go through the molt. You lose aerodynamic efficiency, becoming slower, heavier, and more vulnerable. If molting occurs during a time of scarcity, you can starve to death, unable to hunt with the necessary precision. Your beak, made of keratin, wears down and can crack due to hard impacts against carcasses or bones. A fissure in the beak compromises your ability to tear the flesh of your prey. The pain is constant, and food becomes inaccessible. Your talons are your weapon and your bread and butter. Over the decades, they have suffered microfractures, infections, and wear and tear. They no longer secure prey with the same lethal force. The effort to sink your talons now requires a reaction time you no longer possess. But the cruelest degradation is the one that affects your eyes. The vision that allowed you to spot a rabbit moving 3 kilometers away begins to blur. The lens loses its elasticity. Oxidative wear and micro-injuries lead to the development of cataracts. You can still see, but visual acuity diminishes. You lose critical depth perception. You start missing. A dive that, in your youth, would end with a clean strike against the fish's body, now ends a meter away. The prey gets away. You wasted energy for nothing. Starvation begins to loom. You fly less. You become more reliant on easy carcasses or stealing kills from smaller raptors, a risky act that demands speed and strength you no longer possess. Your mate, if still alive, might start ignoring you. If you can no longer contribute food, you become a burden. Old age is not retirement for you. It is a slow death sentence by starvation. You are thin. Your fat reserves are gone. The cold hits you deeper. You feel the pain in your joints and muscular stiffness. Flying is a painful effort. Your body betrays you. You try to hunt a squirrel, but your eyes deceive you. You hit the ground hard, and the squirrel escapes. You lie there for a while, the pain of the impact reverberating through your hollow skeleton. You try to climb the tree, but with every wing beat, you feel weaker. Your metabolism slows down to conserve the little energy you have left. The days drag on. You spend more time perched low, near the ground, where danger is greater, but flight is less taxing. You become a walking carcass, a shadow of the killing machine you once were. Your last day is cold. You haven't eaten in nearly a week. You can barely hold your head up. Your eyes, once your greatest asset, now barely distinguish the sun from the hazy sky. Hunger is a constant, sharp pain that has turned into numbness. You don't have the strength to fly. You don't have the talents to defend yourself. You don't even have the dignity of a final fight. You are perched on a low branch. The scent of your weakness, the odor of still flesh draws attention. It isn't a majestic predator. It's a coyote, perhaps a hungry fox, sniffing out the opportunity. They don't need to rush. They surround you while you try, futilely, to fluff up your feathers to look bigger. The faint sound of your warning cry is pathetic. The attack is swift and brutal, a flurry of teeth and flesh. You feel the pain of the impact, the snapping of hollow bones, life draining away in seconds of panic and helplessness. You do not die on top of the world, hunting with glory. You die on the ground, torn apart by an opportunistic mammal, because the biological machine failed. Your body, which spent decades fighting death and fighting hunger, now becomes food for the next link in the chain. Your life was exactly what nature intended, an incessant series of suffering and challenges, ending in inevitable degradation. You thought that being an eagle meant being free. You were wrong. You were just a slave to biology, condemned to a life of stress and a terrible death. And so, the cycle begins anew, indifferent to your sacrifice. The eagle paid the price. Like if you understand the cost of survival. Subscribe to face the next biological horror and share the cruelty of this truth.